Hi there! It's Jenny from Quick Anime Recap. And today we're recapping a romantic comedy anime named My Stepmom's Daughter is My Ex. So sit tight and enjoy the video. The anime opens with Yume and Mizuto staring at each other menacingly. And Yume's mother, Yuni, told Mizuto to look after Yume while she is away. That night, Mizuto's father, Miniaki, joins them, and both Miniaki and Yuni are glad to see Yume and Mizuto getting along well. But unbeknownst to them, they actually dated in middle school, but is now broken up, thus they actually hated each other, but try to act cool as to not let their step-parents know about their past. Later, in Mizuto's room, Yume points out to Mizuto that he should address her as One-chan, because she was born 30 minutes earlier than him. But Mizuto refuses to call her his One-chan. Thus, they then came up with a game: anytime either of them acts like an ex-lover, they must admit they are the younger sibling. While trying to provoke each other, Yume is tricked into using Mizuto's surname, making her lose the game. So, she blushingly says, Oni-chan. At the first day of school, both of them get enrolled into the same classroom. Due to Yume's cool demeanor, she becomes popular in class. After class, two boys approach Mizuto and try to befriend him. But he then realizes they are merely pretending to be his friends to get closer to Yume. Yume knows about this, and while they are walking to school, Yume clings to Mizuto and claims she has a brother complex, so the boys back off. Back home, Yume is still mad about losing to Mizuto. So for revenge, she decides to sit by him wearing only a bath towel, tricking him into peeking at her. This almost works, but she goes too far, and her towel almost falls off, until Mizuto covers her with his jacket. Defeated, she tries to leave but trips, and in this situation, they are reminded about their past and forget about their game. And they both went in for a kiss. However, they're interrupted by their parents coming back home. In a panic, Yume hides under the couch to avoid any suspicion. In that moment, they both realize this are precisely why they no longer like each other. The next day at school, Mizuto is approached by a fellow classmate, Kogure. Due to Mizuto's previous encounter, he refuses to be friend with him. But Kogure then states he has no intention of using him to get to Yume, he is just purely wanting to be friend with him. During the fitness exams, Akatsuki Minami, an outgoing sporty girl, keeps staring at Yume's oppai. She then introduces herself to Yume and she couldn't help but ask Yume's cup size. She is shocked to know her cup size is D. After that, the fitness exams begins, and Minami excels at every sports, surprising Yume. As Yume tries to hide that she is bad at sports, she pushes herself too far trying to keep up, and faints. But Mizuto catches her, and told her to not push herself too much. Later at the nurse's office, Yume asks Minami to keep how bad she is at sports a secret, and she agrees, thus they become best friends. While they back in class, Mizuto aggravates Yume, but Minami suspects he was trying to be nice to her. The next morning, Yume catches a fever, and Minami is worried sick of her, so she insists on visiting her after school. After school, Minami and Mizuto brought some food from the supermarket before going to his house. Arriving at his house, a delirious Yume almost says something embarrassing to Mizuto until she sees Minami standing beside him. While they are cooking porridge for Yume, Minami correctly deduces Mizuto once had a girlfriend. She also asks if he sees Yume as more than a sister, but he denies this. Minami then had a sweet moment with Yume where she feeds her porridge. After Minami left, Mizuto went to check on Yume, which she then requests to hold his hand and falls asleep. In that moment, he recalls this is what they always did while they were dating. Yume would always hold his hands before falling asleep. After she is awakened, she makes several demands to Mizuto. Few hours later, Mizuto forces her to retake her temperature, revealing she had already recovered, but faked being ill so he would be nice to her. Yume apologizes to him, and before he leaves her room, she asks him to not abandon her. Which he promises not to, since they are siblings now. A flashback from 6 months ago shows a nerdy and introverted Yume, worshipping items given to her by Mizuto. Back in the present, Yume sniffs Mizuto's boxers and then, she astoundedly asks herself why she did that. Fearful what will happen to her if Mizuto found out, Yume decides to return his boxers at the best opportunity. When the time comes, Yume sneaks out of her room to return them to Mizuto's room, but comes to find out that Mizuto is holding her bra. Afterward, the two have a family meeting, and Yume explained that she used to treasure things given to her by him. Hearing this makes Mizuto seemingly blush, but he denies the fact. When it's time for him to explain, he claims that he saw it in the dryer after he took his shower, and when he went to pick it up, their father walked in on him. Despite Yume not believing Mizuto, she also gives the same story when she was asked about it. Concerning the altercation between them, Mizuto suggests that they allow a single demand from the other as punishment for breaking the game rule. Yume agrees to it, which seals the deal. On her way home from school, Yume spots Mizuto with a girl and immediately thinks the two are on a date. What further frustrated Yume was that the girl looked similar to her back when they were dating. Later that day, Yume finds an extra pair of shoes at home and believes the shoes belong to the girl she saw at the restaurant. Hence, Yume contacts Mizuto and has him do a favor for her, so she can confront the girl she suspects is in his room. When Yume believes Mizuto left, she rushes over to Mizuto's room, and surprisingly Mizuto come out. A conversation starts between them about the girl Yume believed to be there. At first he tries to deny it, but as Yume pulls out the picture of the girl's shoe she has taken, Mizuto tells her to check her room. But her room didn't change at all, confusing him. Thus he dismissed this incident and leave. In his room, Mizuto has a flashback, which it reveals that the girl was actually Minami in disguise. She asks Mizuto to marry her, so she can become Yume's sister. She then explains all the personal things she'd like to do and experience with Yume when they're sisters. Furthermore, Minami also follows Mizuto straight to his home. Mizuto later contacts Kogure about this, and asks for his advice. Kogure tells Mizuto about Minami's past. She had a boyfriend to who she was passionately devoted. In the end, her clinginess killed her boyfriend's mood of her, and she broke up with her. Kogure suggests that for now, Mizuto stands his ground and that he do not waver with her. If, however, she becomes too much for him to handle, they'll have to take a more direct approach. So, Mizuto visits Yume's room to exercise her punishment on Yume for possessing her underwear, which he asks her. After Yume accepted Mizuto's date request, she is greatly confused, and could not make sense why he would request for a date. When Mizuto arrived wearing a fancy suit, Yume couldn't contain herself. During their date, it is revealed that the date was actually Kogure's idea to break Minami's heart, so that she would be discouraged to marry Mizuto and become Yume's sister, by trying to make Minami realize that Yume's heart is only for Mizuto. Throughout their date, Mizuto tries to flirt with Yume as to show Minami they are in love. When Mizuto went for a bathroom break, Kogure gave Mizuto advice while Minami watched jealously. Meanwhile, Yume is lost, because she is terrible at reading maps. So, Mizuto calls her to stay put and wait for him. This reminded Yume of her past. When she had her first date with Mizuto, she was lost too and could not stop crying. But when Mizuto found her, he offers her a drink and comfort her. Back in the present, Mizuto did the same thing to her. After the date, Minami apologizes to Mizuto for sneaking into his house and all the trouble she's caused. But she hasn't given up on her goal of marrying him. Back at home, Yume exercises her punishment by having Mizuto pose for her so she can take picture of him looking cool. She then requests Mizuto to hug her from behind. Thanks for watching the video. Still want to watch more anime recap? Click the videos on the screen to watch more. And don't forget to subscribe to catch the latest upload. Bye!